And we're calling John Kay, who is president of the Louisiana chapter of Americans for Prosperity. Hey, Mr. John, how are you this morning? What's up, man?
I'm well. How are you?
So you had an interesting weekend, and maybe this started as early as Friday. You, John Kay, president, Louisiana chapter, Americans for Prosperity. Well, first of all, you testified last week at the Ways and Means Committee hearing about the gas tax. We haven't spoken to you since then. Tell us what you said and how you were received.
Well, it was a short testimony because they were wrapping up committee. It was right before they won the floor. But I just basically told them how Louisianans felt about the gas tax increase. I didn't get any questions from the committee at that time just because they were out of time. But there were probably a dozen citizens from across Louisiana who went in and told their representatives how they felt about the gas tax, and every one of them were against the gas tax.
Did you feel, having been at the, for lack of a better term, end of the program, that you and perhaps your organization and those who felt similar to you in anti-tax were being patronized?
I think that it was just more circumstance than anything. I'm not going to go there with the situation. The proponents did get more time, but I think that the committee just ended up running longer than I thought that it would. So I'm not going to cast any blame for that.
Well, rats. So there's a representative, a Republican representative named Clay Schexnayder. You tell us what happened. Now, this is a Republican guy, but he voted for the gas tax so far. Is he on Ways and Means also?
Yes, he voted for it on Ways and Means.
What happened was our organization sends our activists door to door. These are volunteers, people who are not paid, door to door and making phone calls to tell people about the votes of their representatives. And in turn, those folks call their representative and tell them how they feel about the votes and if they want them to change their votes. Well, we've been working a lot in Representative Schexnayder's district, and apparently he got tired of receiving the phone calls. So what he did on Saturday afternoon was he forwarded his legislative office number to my personal cell phone.
Wait.
I began having,
Representative Schexnayder, being a Republican, it's not a surprise that he has your personal cell phone number, but he got so ticked off at you, but more specifically his own constituents, for voicing their opinion on his vote.
He forwarded his legislative office number directly to my cell phone. So when constituents would call Representative Schexnayder, they would reach my cell phone and I would answer the phone. To which I told them exactly what was happening, and that Representative Schexnayder had no interest in talking to his constituents. And I've also began tweeting about it, and I was sending him phone messages about what his constituents were telling me on the phone whenever they called. And he eventually turned it off after that pressure started to get to it.
When you would tell his constituents whose phone calls were being forwarded to you by him, although we're on a 7-second delay, I still beg you keep it as clean as you can. What was the standard response from the representatives, folks in his district?
They were just astounded. There were some words that I couldn't say, which I won't say even on the delay. But there were the vast majority of people either laughed because they were just so astounded by it, or they just called it inappropriate, which is what it was. It was one of the most bizarre, surreal things that I've ever experienced. And for a constituent to call and get that response whenever they call and get me, they had to be blown away by the sheer cockiness of Representative Schexnayder.
And or arrogance. How many calls did you get, by the way?
Throughout the day, I probably got somewhere, it was over probably a 4-hour period that they were calling. I probably got somewhere between 10 and 15 calls.
What do you expect is going to happen Thursday when this bill hits the House floor, John?
I think it might actually be Wednesday. And to be honest with you, I am very optimistic that it won't get off the floor. But with that said, it would not be the first time that this House of Representatives has passed a tax under Governor Edwards. And we have to be diligent calling our representatives, talking to them, and telling them exactly how we feel about the issue. Representative Morris was perfectly correct whenever he said the people of Caddo Parish spoke on these tax renewals, and now is not the time to pass more taxes.
Let me ask you about those who are the Democrats. Let's take the Cedric Glovers of the world who have told us they won't vote for a gas tax because that hits the poorest of the poor, and it's not something he is in favor of. Do you think that was not true? Do you think that all the Democrats are going to line up behind it?
I can't speak to that. I'm hoping that they don't. They have made some very strong comments, but Representative Glover was very clear in your program that he was not going to vote for that gas tax increase. It's time for the rubber to meet the road on Wednesday or Thursday of this week, and I hope that he stands by his promise. I can't speak to whether or not he's actually going to do it. I suspect that they're going to get a lot of pressure from the governor's office to vote for this, though. And that can flip people's votes at the end of the day.